I happen to like Hawkeye. I think Hawkeye's right.
The defining aspect of the DRS story is India's long-term resistance to it.
For something that was introduced to reduce controversy, it's ironic just how controversial the decision review system, or DRS, has proved to be.
DRS has been one of the most divisive issues in cricket over the last 15 years. And in some respects, I think still the debate isn't entirely resolved.
DRS allows captains to review a decision made by the on-field umpire, at which point the third umpire steps in, armed with technology in the form of multiple camera angles, snickometer and ball tracking. On paper, this works, but cricket isn't played on paper. For the purest of purists, the biggest problem is this: how can you question the umpire's decision? If you leave that one aside, the problems are split into two buckets: the technology itself and the implementation. Because of its predictive nature, ball tracking technology is not 100% accurate.
We often see DRS where it clashes with the evidence of our own eyes. I think we find it a little bit difficult still to incorporate. And I think there's even some stages where the DRS is kind of counterintuitive to a destructive degree.
I happen to like Hawkeye. I think Hawkeye's right pretty much all the time. I know a lot of people think that it doesn't get height right, and that predicting the path of the ball is impossible and is full of error, but I suspect that it's marginally more regular and consistent in its decision making than the human brain.
Added to the occasionally counterintuitive tech is the problem of implementation. Increasingly, we see DRS being used as a tool to test a captain's hunch rather than one to get rid of howlers. And if a team runs out of reviews, they can still be at the receiving end of bad umpiring decisions anyway, which sometimes defeats this initial purpose.
I think that probably there should only be one opportunity to review, not two, and then I do think sides would leave it for what they believe to be a moment when they've been wronged, rather than think they might get lucky and be right.
DRS has been a lightning rod for controversies. In the 2011 World Cup semi-final against Pakistan, Syed Ajmal appeared to have trapped Sachin Tendulkar plumb in front, but ball tracking said otherwise. In November 2015, an Australia-New Zealand test got DRS'd when the third umpire refused to overturn a caught-at-slip shout. This time, one half of the technology being used, Hotspot, said there was a nick, while the other, Snicko, said there wasn't. The third umpire took the best part of 5 minutes to reach this decision. And in 2017, Steve Smith found himself in a hot spot against India after sneaking a glance at the dressing room before opting to review the umpire's call. But on the balance of things, technology was bound to leave its mark on cricket, just like the technology and processes are bound to improve over time.
In a sense, it was inevitable that technology was going to enter into officiation. It had in most other sports. There were such huge sort of fortunes riding on cricketing decision making that to allow it to simply play out in human hands was almost to expect too much of our philosophical nature and our belief in the rub of the green.
Incidentally, the origins of DRS can be tracked back to that rub of the green, or lack of it, from an Indian perspective.
India's distrust kind of dates back to that original series in 2008 between India and Sri Lanka, where India didn't seem to understand the system all that well and rather misused it. The irony is that one of the pushes for DRS was the 2007-8 series in Australia, where umpiring had been so controversial. So India both expedited and retarded the development of technology. The defining aspect of the DRS story is India's long-term resistance to it. They've been heavily criticised for, but I think actually as a result of their obduracy in this area, we've ended up with a much better system than we had originally.
Well, I like the DRS. Now, I know that a lot of ex-players out there don't. So yeah, I'm a big favourite. I think it's been very good for the game.
If you liked what you just saw and want more, click here to subscribe.